And I never said it. It's so dishonest. Who can fuck with this guy, dude? He's such a scumbag. And the thing is, I've been trying to be cool about it, but he's forcing my hand. There's certain times I was like, maybe I'm over it. I'll just let it go. He's forcing my hand. And I'm just going to say this, that I'm going to have a lot of free time coming up here pretty soon. About after Wednesday. And I have a lot to say. And I've got a lot of free time coming up. You know what I mean?
Ethan's been having a fun winter break. Okay, so let's get into this. We left off with Ethan talking about how he's planning something big, and both the H3 community and Ethan's haters community have been waiting for this big content nuke that he's been promising about Hasan. And Ethan says that he's been working on a content nuke over winter break. Which, I mean, if that's how you want to spend your vacation time in your basement, working on hate content against people that have been calling you out, that's fine. I don't know his family dynamics, but I'm sure he's having an enjoyable break from his show. This is going to be a drama episode. This is just going to be a fun episode that I'm bringing to you guys. Don't worry, just sit back, relax. We're not going to talk about serious politics today. This is just going to be a stupid little video, which is going to be checking in on what Ethan Klein has been up to over the winter break. We're going to start off with this. So this guy is a content creator named Aubrey, and from what I can gather, he's been doing some outreach about like dwarfism, and he's been an advocate for dwarfism. And so he's been making a few posts about Ethan Klein. And we have this reaction from Ethan here on Ethan's Instagram. Enough with these weak ass callouts trying to cash out on H3 hate. This shit is not paying out anymore. F this dude, we have insane amounts of receipts to disprove everything. I see you trying to erase shit too. Don't worry, we have it all saved. Why the F would you even make this video? Jake Doolittle levels of self-owning. Enjoy the new year, dipshit. So once again, Ethan has been having a great winter break, completely enjoying himself, completely relaxing and having a lot of fun, ending his Instagram post with a middle finger. You cannot make this stuff up. And then there's another post about it. Man, this dude is going to look so effing dumb when we're back. So obvious this comment he's scraping for any clout he can get from this new wave of H3 hate. And they always start talking shit the minute I'm on break too. Just a coincidence. Which, once again, is just hilarious. Like, people are not waiting until you're on break. People have been criticizing you for a while. We can look at some of the reaction to these Instagram stories on Ethan's own subreddit, on the H3 subreddit. So these are Ethan's fans. And once again, this subreddit is famous for banning people that have been doing anything that isn't completely kissing Ethan's ass. So all of these people are definitely like huge H3 fans. I know nothing about this, but I'm here for the drama. It's the guy from Elderly's, I think. He called in and confronted Gary and Jimmy because Jimmy was making midget jokes in his videos. We really live in a messed up society, honestly. This anti-lefty arc has really got me thinking about how ungrateful people are. Like, it seems like the Trump people and the lefty people are so similar when it comes to thinking the whole world is out to get them. Honestly, I wish we could all just take a step back and breathe in how perfect a world we live in. Which is a completely insane comment, but it is 100% the result of the kind of politics Ethan brings to the table, where he'll just make some kind of snide comment about someone, putting them down, but say peace and love, and then his audience is going to be like, well, yeah, we're at the end of the day, we're all above petty politics, right? Why are we letting a politic like genocide divide us? Why are we letting basically discriminating against minority groups like little people divide us? We should all be above this thing. Sure, this one comedian made dehumanizing jokes about you and you called them out on it, but why are you creating the division by calling out this kind of bigotry that Ethan Klein was platforming on his show. And I know this was supposed to be a political episode, but this is the type of politics that Ethan Klein has been really creating in his community. And so, yes, I am not surprised to see a comment like this, where they're conflating the extreme left and the extreme right. And why can't both of these people just get along? I mean, the extreme left is saying, if you are bigoted to a group of people, then you are going to be canceled. And the extreme right is saying, I want to kill minority groups. Why are these two groups the exact same? Insane stuff. So this was interesting too. So let me refresh this page. So this is another reaction from an H3 fan. I'm really confused by this call out post. I saw this TikTok today by a disability educator I follow and I really respect. And it sounded like they were talking about this. And then he links the episode from 2 years ago. I went back and rewatched that segment. I feel like that was a really enlightening and respectful conversation. Aubrey, who is this person's name, was listening in the whole conversation and wasn't brought in by surprise. The crew seemed to be respectful and open-minded for the most part. IDK, I'm confused. Does anyone think this might be a different podcast? If this is a mischaracterization, I'm really disappointed in this creator, but IDK. So this is funny. This person is seeing basically a conflict between two creators that he likes. He likes Ethan Klein and he likes this creator Aubrey. And he's like, these two things don't match up against each other. One thing is wrong. Either Ethan Klein's a bigoted asshole or this guy is mischaracterizing his interaction with Ethan Klein. So you can literally go back to his Reddit history and see how grateful he was to be on the podcast. Also, when he taught Jimmy Lee about dwarfism, I personally thought it was a great moment for everyone watching. He also came on the next day and did an interview with Ethan, and the vibes were great, and Ethan helped him report a YouTube channel that was harassing him in public. He also posted his gratitude on Insta. He deleted that post. Damn, so are these the receipts that Ethan's talking about? When Ethan says, what did he say? He said that, don't worry, I see you trying to erase shit too. Don't worry, we have it all saved. So yeah, he's saying like we have receipts saved of you. Okay, yeah. And then he links his page. Snippet of Aubrey's Insta post. It's not the full post itself, but the bulk of his sentiment still shows in Google search results. Disappointed that he's handling it like this and deleting his posts. What is this? It was an honor to chat with at H3 Productions about dwarfism. Thankful for anybody making space for disabled. I mean, just because he posts something saying like, oh yeah, I'm happy I went on the podcast doesn't mean that it wasn't an awkward experience for him. So let's take a look at what the video was that this person said that caused Ethan to go so hateful towards him and attack him on Instagram.
A good educational moment, especially as a viewer at the time with dwarfism. So I wrote on their subreddit, I was like, hey, I'm a filmmaker and educator. I would love to come on and educate you guys and talk about the dwarfism community and specifically the phobia of little people, since I know that's such a gray area for a lot of people. So the post blew up. All the the fans of the show were like, we would love to see Aubrey on the show. They reached out, and then next thing you know, I'm in the waiting room the next episode to talk to the comedian and the podcast owner's dad. And I thought this was going to be a educational little moment, but I was coming on to be a bit. They essentially had, leading up to my appearance, a whole compilation of this guy, all the times that he said publicly on the internet that he's afraid of little people, and just a lot of derogatory jokes about little people. And then they were like, and drum roll, we have a little person to surprise you. And they brought me in with basically no warning. And the whole bit was basically just about having a little person go against two guys who were just talking about how little people, what are they going to do? Kick you in the shins? And then brought me in. And it just really solidifies the fact that, one, I'm a class act. Because I wanted to cuss them out. But I do believe in digital footprints. And mind you, this was in front of like 50,000 people watching live. And because what you're not gonna do is pretend like just because I have dwarfism that you can suddenly start making jokes as if I'm not a grown man who pays taxes and like has a life. Shame on you, weirdo. But two, again, I'm an educator. I do believe in trying my best, and I did what I could. They weren't willing to listen. They weren't wanting to listen. The whole crew was just laughing the whole time. And it was like an out of body experience. I definitely disassociated for maybe 30 seconds because I was like, it's very strange watching something that you consumed for so long and then finally being involved in that circle and then just realizing you're there to be a joke. Very weird thing. And it really, now I'm so conscious of what I say yes to and the things that I say and participate in. And the only podcast I listen to now, because I ain't listening to that anymore, is Do We Know Them? Because we love the girlies. And one of them actually has a child with a disability and talks so openly and respectfully about that. And then also I listen to my own podcast because I love the sound of my own voice. Sorry, some of us have soothing, calming voices that's enjoyable to listen to. But don't worry about me, though. I'm doing bigger and better things. At the time, I had just started working on my documentary, and I was also told them that I would love to talk to people about that and why I was making a documentary about little people that actually hired little people behind the camera and in front of the camera in the first place, because of issues like us being constantly used as like I'm scared of little people and the experiences that we have. But that fundraiser, it took a long time to reach our goal, but we finally did a couple months ago in the summer, which was really exciting. And also, I'm still hot, so, and the podcast owner now is crashing out on the internet publicly, so, how things change.
Okay, so I don't know if Ethan Klein did anything in particular that made this guy, Aubrey, post this video about his bad experience on the H3 podcast, but I think it's fair to start criticizing Ethan for his recent actions. So let's just take a look at this at the podcast appearance. So the one thing that we can go back to is how he's talking about he was brought on as a joke for these two comedians.
Educational little moment. But I was coming on to be a bit. They essentially had, leading up to my appearance, a whole compilation of this guy, all the times that he said publicly on the internet that he's afraid of little people, and just a lot of derogatory jokes about little people. And then they were like, and drum roll, a little person go against two guys who were just talking about how little people, what are they going to do? Kick you in the shins?
Yeah, so two guys. So that's this clip that we can watch. So we can just take a look at this. And he said before we brought him on, they played a compilation of him being afraid of little people. So let's see if we can find the compilation.
It's always next time for sure. Howie's lost his mind on TikTok too, which is pretty interesting.
How?
I think he's been emboldened by the prolapse. He's really going in. Like, look at this one. He just posted. Mute it because it's got music, but dude, Howie's a menace to society. He's just going in ice cream shops and pouring vanilla on his dome.
I'm growing my hair back, people.
But okay, enough about that. Let's move on to what everybody's waiting for. Speaking of my dad, so I'm not ready. I'm not sure I know I'm ready for this. The elderlies. So the backstory here, of course, is that
It's pretty good. So hold on. It's too low.
Well, thank you.
Dan, it's too low. Gary's not great anymore. Gary looks
I
fine.
look like I have something on my head. I'm not sure what it is.
And I don't want anybody sniffing around my fly unless they're serious.
I need to confront you on something, okay?
I know which one it was.
Which one?
I don't like midgets either.
Oh, stop it.
Don't get
Okay, so this is a compilation of this comedian friend that Ethan knows is kind of an asshole and he's kind of an asshole and kind of a bigot, and Ethan brings him on to make these offensive jokes. And I think this is something that a lot of like content creators will do, where they will talk about kind of taboo stuff, but they'll do it in a way that's ironic and kind of above it. So they're not personally espousing these views. They're just talking about these views. And I see it a lot in religious circles, where a guy who's like ostensibly religious and has these deeply held convictions, they love talking about sex, and they love talking about who should have sex, where they should have sex, when they should have sex, how you should have sex, and they are obsessed with talking about sex, and they'll be obsessed with talking about gay sex too, but they do it from a position of, I'm above it all, I'm just discussing this from an intellectual perspective. And I think this is something that Ethan Klein kind of does with this guy who does bigoted jokes. They're like, well, no, I'm not laughing at the bigoted jokes, I'm laughing at the person. And the joke is that, isn't it funny we are ironically platforming this bigoted comedian? The joke is that we have this comedian that's bigoted, but we're above it. We can laugh at him. We're not laughing with him. But I think he's actually kind of getting off at platforming a comedian that is bigoted and does make sexist jokes, racist jokes, and, as we'll see here, jokes against little people. So yeah, let's just start with this. We'll kind of start over on this compilation and play our way into the actual segment.
Balls at a baseball game.
Yes. Now I want you guys to create a secret handshake together.
1, 2, 3, and then 4. And that's just Jimmy and Gary's handshake.
There is a house in New Orleans.
Ooh.
They call the rising sun.
Taking care of business and working overtime. Zach, work out. Get that guitar, Zach. Ooh,
The hair
Benny
dye
boy.
is not affecting our
The
memory.
hair dye is not affecting our memories.
Under the laptop in front of Gary are instructions on how to open the show document.
Hey, Kolb, go get my readers. I'll help Gary. I can't see. My readers.
Jimmy, I gotta ask, so you said that your issue with people these days is that they're a little too sensitive. Is that what you said?
Yes.
We've prepared a little something.
Listen, you're shrinking. Did you take preparation H?
I hate fucking midgets, man. I don't want anybody sniffing around my fly unless they're serious.
I need to confront you on something, okay?
I know which one it was.
Which one?
I don't like midgets, Ethan.
Oh,
I can't
stop
hide
it.
my feelings. Don't get mad. I just never liked them.
The word midgets is very offensive, okay? We don't use that word anymore.
I thought it was a pretty good joke. Jolly Roger liked it. Pretty funny. It's just
I mean, do you see what I mean when I talk about how Ethan gets off on platforming bigotry? Ethan didn't have to say the word that is derogatory for little people, and I'm just choosing not to say because I'm trying to be respectful. I know I'm platforming it too, but I'm trying to do it in a critical way. Ethan did not have to say that, but Ethan gets off on being able to say derogatory things. That's kind of where he came from. His past was making all of these edgy jokes, but now he can do it in an ironic way and criticize the jokes while still platforming those same ideas, while still being that kind of edginess. Now he's confronting the edginess rather than being the edgy comedian himself, but he's still existing in this edgy, oh, I'm going to insult people potentially, but I'm just like, I'm surfing on the edge of being too insulting versus being like too PC. I can exist in this kind of edgy world while still maintaining this veneer of being politically correct. And so Ethan's like, you know that, the M word is very offensive to people, right? You shouldn't say it, but Ethan's saying it anyway. And like, look at how much he's enjoying this. It is really gross. And this is exactly what kind of like the youth pastors, that's the idea that comes to my mind, where they're like, they get off on talking about sex to teenagers as these guys that are like the Christian youth pastors that every Wednesday they get a bunch of like 15, 16, 17-year-old kids inside their chapel, and then they like play the guitar and talk about how you shouldn't be having sex with anyone. That's kind of the vibe that I'm getting from Ethan here, where they're like talking about taboo subjects and saying, oh no, don't do it, but they still enjoy talking about those taboo subjects.
an old style joke. That's really what it was.
What'd you think of that, Gary?
All right, so we planned an intervention for the whole midget thing, and I was expecting my dad, to come.
I mean, once again, saying an offensive word, but in the way that he's saying it, he can be like, well, I'm just accurately describing the way that Jimmy think the guy's name is Jimmy Lee. Yeah, Jimmy Lee. I'm just accurately describing the way Jimmy Lee said it. And Ethan, apparently there's whole compilations of Ethan saying the N-word online. That's the exact same thing. He gets off on potentially being like derogatory towards black people, but he's saying it ironically. He's just discussing someone else saying it. But dude, he gets a kick out of like being bigoted. I think that's pretty fair to say.
Kind of ride for the social issue. He thought that was a highlight reel.
I mean, it's kind of like the same thing when AB was saying, Rudy Giuliani is saying that Palestinian kids get taught how to kill Americans by 2 years old, and Ethan's like, that's pretty spicy. Like, it's kind of gives me that same vibe where he does get off on platforming bigotry.
He's clapping, so just brace yourself, guys. Go easy on my dad, please.
Some classic offensive humor. I think it's very clever and very smart, because if you're going to go after a
My new
minority
manager.
group, who is less apt to hurt you than midgets or little people, right? You
What can they
make
do to
fun of
me?
other groups. They have big, serious, threatening people, not midgets. What are they going to do? Come up and kick you in the knee or something? That's
Okay, I'm really glad you said that, Gary, because we actually.
Okay, so clearly he failed. He failed the test. But actually, the worst part is, guys, what comes next. And boy, just notice their face. I mean,
And in the role of a lifetime, Gary.
all right, I'm just gonna play it. Everybody tighten.
I mean, dude, this is so freaking gross. Imagine if it was like Ethan on the other foot and he was invited onto this podcast and they were like extremely anti-Semitic, and they're like, oh, what are the Jews going to do? Lend you money and then ask for it to be returned to you? And then people are laughing about it, and then they're like, oh, well, we have actually a Jewish person for you. And they bring on Ethan Klein. Like, how would that make Ethan Klein feel? If he thinks he's going to come on and talk about how anti-Semitism is a real issue, and then the pretext or like the context that they bring him onto the show is them making a bunch of anti-Semitic jokes, like, this is extremely fucking rude. And the whole vibe of the show isn't that this is going to be educational. It is a kind of gotcha moment for these two old fucks that are like being very derogatory against little people. It's not, now we're going to educate these two guys. It's, haha, look at you, don't you have egg on your face, aren't you embarrassed? It's actually insane. And I mean, look at how like happy Ethan is. Look at how gleeful he is when the other old guy, Gary, I guess it's Ethan's dad. Look at his face is literally like red.
Buddy.
And in the role of a.
Clearly,
people, not midgets.
Like, he's so gleeful because he's like, oh my god, this is going to be such a good setup to the punchline of bringing this guy on. Isn't this hilarious? They're being so bigoted right now, and now they're going to be confronted with this minority group, with this member of the minority they're being bigoted against. Haha, this is a great joke. This is going so well. These two old guys that I'm platforming are being maximally bigoted towards this group.
What are they going to do? Come up and kick you in the knee or something? That's
Okay, I'm really glad you said that, Gary, because we actually.
okay, so clearly he failed. He failed the test. But actually, the worst part is, guys, what comes next. And boy, just notice their face. I mean,
And in the role of a lifetime, Gary.
all right, I'm just gonna play it. Everybody, tighten your sphincter.
Actually have a little person on the call. They've been listening. And so Dan is going to bring them in right now, and we can sort of open a dialogue here.
Dude, it's literally the joke of their faces. God, this is so... I did not realize it was this disgusting.
Okay. So this is Aubrey.
so far so good.
Gary.
Hello, Aubrey.
Hi, Gary.
How you doing?
How you doing, kid?
Yeah, love you.
Oh, well.
Also, how is Ethan Klein's dad so much better looking than Ethan Klein? I'm just gonna put that out there right now. Like, he looks fucking good as an old man. I did not realize that he was his dad until I read the title. Ethan's dad meets Jimmy Lee.
Thank you.
Even though you think I would come up and kick you in the shins.
Well, I have pretty low shins too, so.
And you guys are both pretty short, so I wouldn't really be coming after our community.
Ooh. Yeah, so this is Aubrey, a comedian who wrote to us a few weeks ago.
They posted on the subreddit, actually.
So he posted on the subreddit.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, right. And he was saying that, you know, he could talk to us about this whole Jimmy Lee midget arc.
Right.
Little people arc. And so we had planned this call in, and the setup was just really, really rough, man. But here it goes. Let's see if either of them are going to learn anything.
Bro, why are you saying the setup was rough when you planned the setup yourself? You literally made like a clip, like a few clips compiled of Jimmy Lee being bigoted towards little people. And then you played that, primed him up to be making jokes about little people while the guy was on the call. And now you're saying the setup was rough, like you had no agency over that? You orchestrated it. I mean, just once again, Ethan Klein saying, oh, it's like the M word, and then, I'm eating little people. Sorry, it's little people. He just does not give a fuck, dude. Like, I know his dad was being shitty towards that guy, and he's the exact same sense of humor as Ethan. So that's relatable between them.
Shout out Aubrey, by the way.
Shout out.
Oh, yeah, here's the post. Maybe many of you may have seen it. It says, Ethan, I'm an actor with dwarfism. I'm currently making a documentary comedy series special about a disability hate group on YouTube that's been cyberbullying me for over a year named Jimmy Lee.
Right.
Just kidding. I would love to call in tomorrow during the Tippy Toes segment and chat about Jimmy's.
Oh, right. The post was actually about the tip.
Right,
thing.
which
But then,
as you guys know.
we knew we had this Jimmy thing planned, and so it ended up working out for that.
He says, I want to chat about Jimmy's little people phobia and do some dwarfism representation. So we knew we wanted to get him on the show. This is him, legend. And this is what we did, and I'm so sorry. To him, of course.
Dude, he's
But
literally...
let's see, does he break through?
He's literally fucking laughing when he says that he's so sorry. He's like, oh, I'm so sorry. And then he like cracks his smile. It's so tongue-in-cheek, man, from him. You can tell that he just does not care whatsoever about like what he's actually platforming. And this is his style of comedy, right? Edgy, bigoted jokes in the face of someone who is that minority group. And Ethan thinks this is peak comedy. And people call this motherfucker a comedian.
Jimmy, the comments that you made, you weren't really serious. Like, you don't actually dislike little people, right?
This is an act. It's
Exactly.
an act. And I'm a loving, big-hearted, nice guy that does a comedy act, and I don't mean anything I say. No, it's just
Jimmy,
intended to
Gary.
laugh at ourselves, Aubrey. That's all it is.
Right. No, yeah, I am.
I love how
trust me, I grew up-
I love how Jimmy's thing is always, we got to laugh at ourselves. It's like, who's ourselves? You're consistently slamming other people only.
I've been performing since in the entertainment industry, in the circus since I was 4. Now I do stand-up comedy. Trust me, I was not offended. And I think I could tell it wasn't really a serious comment to me.
No.
Do you actually know any people with dwarfism?
I have patience.
Okay, who are little people?
So just notice they are doing a lot of cuts. This is a very edited interview that Aubrey had with these two old fucks. So when Ethan says like, oh, we have receipts of everything that you did, just notice that this conversation was edited. So there could have been like extra context that we are missing now because this is a pre-recorded segment that they are now playing on their live episode. So we'll just run that back and we can see the whole
I love how
Trust me,
I love how Jimmy's thing is always consistently
entertainment industry, in the circus since I was 4. Now I do stand-up comedy. Trust me, I was not offended. And I think I could tell it wasn't really a serious comment to me. Do you actually know any people with dwarfism?
I have patience.
Okay, who are little people?
And I didn't do that joke on them, Aubrey, in the office, by the way.
Oh, I know, Jim.
Because I'm a dentist in the office, not the comedian.
You do come from a very different generation where there was very different representations, obviously, of little people. Even medically speaking, doctors used to still use the word midget, even though there's no such thing as a midget. We are people with dwarfism, and there's hundreds of types of dwarfism. So my only question was just if you do know little people and you're not really scared of them, but do you see how maybe that would have like real world implications for a group that has no representation?
I
that
understand.
is ever shown in a sexual or violent manner? Like, so I'm saying, even just as a comedian, I really just don't think that's the lane you want to go down.
Okay, I got you.
Do you see how it's nothing about if I find it offensive?
I understand.
I don't think you're that person, but as someone who's literally making a movie right now about how YouTube allows people to follow us around who sometimes are minors and go around calling us all of these names, but that aren't even names that are reflective of a medical condition, literally just a slur. Like, I just figure that you are someone who doesn't actually hate little people.
I don't hate anybody. And Zach's been telling me to quit for years. I may have to take his advice.
I don't think you should quit, but I definitely think you should realize that comedy can be sustained without literally using someone else as a punching bag.
I got you.
What do you feel? You can be honest, Jimmy.
No, I have plenty of other jokes. I don't have to use the midget joke.
Everyone can be joked about. I just think it's the offhandedness and the fact that you're just quick to move on to another joke where I get followed in stores and I have someone online literally who's been stalking and threatening and harassing me just because I have dwarfism. He calls it Midget Wednesday. And I just don't think you would want to be associated with that.
No, I don't. I'm going to let that one go.
Jimmy, this is an iconic conversation then, you realize.
Well, I'm not ever going to do a little people joke again. We're going to knock that off the dock. We're letting it go after listening to you.
Can you look at me without your sunglasses and give that to me in the camera?
We're swearing off little people jokes.
Oh, he even got the term
You
right.
weren't supposed to do it that easy.
I have a zillion other jokes. I can take the little people jokes out.
We appreciate, your perspective, Aubrey. It's been very informative and enlightening, and I hope it's resonating.
Like, I love talking and arguing. It's if I ever came across a certain way, please don't think you are not offensive in the way that you talk about little people that I hear every single day. So it's not about being offended at all.
It
And
wasn't
Gary, I'm like
harmful intended. I just do comedy.
I love it. And again, I'm a comedian, guys. You don't know my humor too. So you don't know I could be just as but
You can
no,
make fun of a Jew. I'm right here. Just don't shoot me.
we don't need to make
Two
fun of
Jews.
anybody
Two
that-
Jews in planning a fire.
Two Jews walk into a bar.
There's lots of other content out there, and that's what I would just like to say as my final thing.
Well, thank you. Thanks.
Thank you,
Please,
Aubrey.
Jimmy, please look up dearaverage-type-people.com, making a documentary comedy special about that disability hate group because YouTube just doesn't care enough to protect small creators. So it's dearaverage-type-people.com, and we're raising money right now to finish the film. Jimmy, you would love this. It's a comedy special, Jimmy. We're making fun of ourselves. We're making fun of everybody. The point is to bridge the gap between people like you and people like me.
We want to say one thing. Me and Guy are going to say it together. We love you. Say it.
Yeah, what he said.
Thank you, guys.
Aubrey,
Yes.
thank you.
Okay.
It was
Thank you so
great.
much, Aubrey.
Thank you.
So
Take
much,
care.
Aubrey.
Good luck.
Whoa, that went
Thank
better
you.
than I thought. I mean, Jimmy I think, okay, there was a lot of finessing.
There's a lot.
You actually finessed that to
Without-
making it look like Jimmy learned a valuable lesson.
Yeah.
The fuck? So Ethan's even admitting that it was cut to make it seem like Jimmy learned a lesson when in reality he most likely didn't learn a lesson? What is this finessing? Is there the unedited clip of it? What the hell? There was a lot of, Jesus, this is dark.
It was a bumpy conversation, I'll tell you what.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of back and forth. I had to cut a lot for the sake of brevity, but it'll be in the final.
So it was not a lovely conversation. There was a lot of friction between the two old bigots and Aubrey.
Cut there.
But that was nice. But ultimately, in the end, actually, there was some progress with Jimmy there swearing off little people jokes, even using the correct term there. How about that?
You got to see his reaction at the end, though, after they.
All right, here we go. Let's see.
Beard purged.
Why'd you do it? Oh, that's not what I wanted.
You too, guys.
Okay, bye-bye.
Okay.
Oh, now I think I need to take my Metamucil.
Is that a joke or you need to take your Metamucil?
Am I allowed to use the toilet before we go to our next segment?
Sure, yes.
I might throw up.
Oh, don't. Yeah, then definitely go in the bathroom.
Oh, it's stressful for poor old Jimmy. You're gonna shit and puke. I guess you did a generous job of cutting that together there, Cam. So I don't know.
Like I said, the final cut has the full context and everything. So.
Cam Cranston, what's up, dude?
Yeah, that was some excellent editing, I must say, Cam. It was a
shout out to Cameron, who basically
conversation
did the impossible.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right, well, let's do a poll then and see. I think I was expecting worse. I think maybe this didn't hurt. This was Jimmy 2 days ago. Oh no, he did this 2 days ago. wait. We had this conversation last week. So this was a few days after the intervention, and he posted, "I hate them midgets." Jimmy, what the fuck?
Oh my god. Yeah, so this whole segment is a bit about, oh well, we got this guy to call out Jimmy. Isn't that funny? God, dude. Like yeah, it's not educational. It was literally caught up to have like a funny beginning, middle, and end of it, and now we have this where it's like, turns out he didn't actually change at all. And sure, he might be saying this ironically, but still, the whole point of Aubrey coming on and correcting him on the terminology is so that he can make like if you want to make jokes about little people, you kind of need to make informed jokes about little people and not at the expense of them.
We almost had another redemption arc. I hate them midgets, man.
Oh my god. And like, why the fuck is Ethan Klein repeating this shit?
Shit. All right, well, just to give you guys context, he has not learned his lesson. So let's do it in one poll, I guess, here. And after the poll, we actually have Audrey on the call to do a little bit of a debriefing.
No, we don't. What?
Isn't his name Aubrey? Did he just say his name wrong? Yeah, it's Aubrey. It's not Audrey. Dude, he doesn't even know the guy's fucking name.
What?
No, we don't.
What?
We don't have... You just pulled that out of thin air.
What is this poll?
I lost 2 points for that, so I guess Jimmy's still in the running there. Go watch the members version and then tell me if you still like...
Well, it still ends at the same place, but it takes a lot longer to get there.
Whatever. Shout out Audrey, everybody. What's the website?
It's Aubrey.
Aubrey, sorry. Aubrey. Website is... What is the
It is, it's been linked in the chat, but it's dearaverageheighpeople.com, or there's also an Indiegogo project if you Google it.
We'll drop the link in the description.
Yeah.
Our mods are spamming it right now.
There you go.
In the chat.
Interestingly, only a 2-point swing for Jimmy, so this man is untouchable. You know?
Can't be stopped.
He only lost 2 points for that, so I guess Jimmy's still in the running there. Go watch the members version and then tell me if you still like...
Oh, so they paywalled the entire thing. Yeah, because their whole point was to educate. Okay, well, let's skip to the call-in. So that was a really gross segment.
Okay, there it is. He's alive. Thank God.
Thank God.
We love him. All right. Thank him for his time, for going.
Hey.
Oh, hello. Is this live already?
It sure is.
Hi, we'll go live, you know. Hi, Aubrey. Well, first of all, thank you so much for taking on the unfathomable task of trying to give sensitivity training to Jimmy Lee and my dad.
No, of course. It's honestly, anytime that people are willing to have a conversation, it's so important to have a conversation. And I'm honestly like shocked that you guys, allowed that to happen in the first place, because, just like dwarfism representation, it's just really, really hard to not be taken as a joke. And I was really excited that the Reddit, community and my fellow foot soldiers were there.
Yeah.
I mean, you literally were portrayed as a joke in this podcast segment, as he'll probably later find out.
Wanting to have that conversation, and me and my producer were just scrolling through the comments, and I think there's almost like 200 comments on that thread of me just going back and forth with people asking questions. People were like, oh, I know a person with dwarfism that I really miss that I grew up with. Oh, love what you're doing because I don't like how people with dwarfism are represented on screen. So when with the Jimmy and Gary thing, I'm like, this is, trust me, in comparison to actual like people on the internet who hate me right now and they're like actively doing everything they can to exploit people with dwarfism, this was like the easiest thing.
Okay, wow. But what was actually the most interesting is that you actually seemed to break through to Jimmy Lee. Although, well, that's questionable because 2 days later he did write, "I fucking hate midgets" in his description. And apologies for using that word just to retell his.
Come on, dude. He does not give a shit about using that word. I mean, once again, I think he gets off on saying it.
What he wrote.
Listen, in the full version, I got caught slipping too. I was like, midget this, midget that, because it's not, I want to move past the word as the most interesting things that people with dwarfism can offer, you know? And that was what I was ultimately trying to get across to Jimmy. I was like, when you use this word, buddy. And he even made a joke. He was like, oh, I have a few jokes. Because I was like, let's go through some jokes. We can workshop it. And he was like, oh, you're something black and you can't, I bet you won't be playing basketball. And I'm like, there's literally people with dwarfism who they're not playing with LeBron James, but they're traveling around the world being paid thousands of dollars every week to be the global Globetrotters. His name's Manny. He's an incredible person. And I know that in those moments I was like, with Jimmy, I was like, we're gonna get to the bottom of this because Manny's not sweating his ass off. People aren't sweating their ass off with dwarfism on Broadway. Musicians, teachers, in law, doctors, nurses, they're not doing all this work for us to just be like, ha 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 midgets, ha 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 this.
Yeah.
No, that's what my movie's about, basically. It's just about like highlighting.
Bro, holy shit. This guy's actually saying something like very important, just kind of portraying dwarfism, people with dwarfism, and talking about how like they are an integral part of society and they do just have regular jobs like everyone else. And Ethan could not care any less. His eyes are glazing over. He's yawning. He's hunched over. He's like, okay, yeah. Okay, so like he's literally cutting Aubrey off in the midst of talking about like little people visibility.
People aren't sweating their ass off with dwarfism on Broadway. Musicians, teachers, in law, doctors, nurses, they're not doing all this work for us to just be like, ha 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 midgets, ha 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 this.
Yeah.
Now that's what my movie's about, basically. It's just about like highlighting that.
Okay. Also, I just need to say this. Like Aubrey is quite obvious. He is quite obviously coming onto this podcast for two reasons. One, to kind of correct the record on all of the bigotry coming out of this podcast about little people, and two, to promote his movie that he's producing, which are both extremely valid reasons. And when people are going to say, well, he made posts thanking Ethan for bringing him on his podcast, and now he's saying that he had a bad experience on it, isn't he a hypocrite? Both of these things can't be true. Well, I'm sure like he didn't have the best experience, but promoting his appearance on this massive podcast was still a net positive for both of these causes, both for promoting little people visibility and to promote his movie. So it is not a hypocritical thing to say after the fact that you did not have a good experience on the show.
New fun way that's like entertaining to watch.
Let me ask you this. You mentioned that there's people that like stalk you. Like you said that, you know.
Jimmy, I mean, even literally today, like earlier today, I went to this. They have a YouTube channel that's been running for years that is monetized.
What?
And
what's the name? Can I ask the name of it, or do you rather not say?
I would love, trust me, nothing I would love better, because all it's going to take is just more than me and 10 other people I know reporting his account, because YouTube's reporting system does not work.
Yeah, it's just about quantity.
But he's literally using, I used to post videos on YouTube as like a way of showing what it's like to be a dwarf, like what a day in the life of a little person, comedy videos in that sense, right? Not taking anything seriously. And he would play these videos as a part of Midget Wednesdays with his thousands of followers. And all he does is literally just say, oh, if we don't fetishize you, we're just going to start getting rid of people like you.
Oh my God.
Saying stuff like literally called me the N-word 2 days ago on YouTube, and they're making money. But no, what I would rather, if truly Ethan, is I would love if you could like assist, because I just need someone at YouTube who I can send the links, the, you know, all the backup accounts, all of that stuff that I've had to compile over this year, because I've never said anything to this person. And I would love for someone at YouTube, a person, to just be like, oh, click. But it will be justified, because you can't, it's literally.
I can write an email intro, and then you can just explain kind of whatever you want to say.
But I think in terms of that, I just kind of got over that.
Wait, is the channel's name Keemstar or Drum Alert?
You're gonna laugh when you see him. I'll send him to you. You're gonna laugh, because I call him.
It is. Oh, you did.
No.
Oh, okay. Just making
No.
sure. Just confirming.
No.
I just wanted to confirm. Yeah,
No.
I'll set you up an email. I am best friends with Susan, of course, so there's no problem here.
Susan,
Yeah, no
This is
problem.
going to be the test if Susan likes little people. Does YouTube actually like little people? Just kidding.
But you said he harasses you in real life and stuff like that?
No. So,
Oh.
but people have in this journey, I found videos of him reacting to other people who have uploaded videos of me in public. And he's reacting to it because he just scours anything on YouTube that has the word dwarf, little person, or midget in it. And I've literally been watching him react to a video of me and my producer filming a movie about disability awareness and about the hyper, fixation on dwarfism. And he's literally proven my points for the points of this film that there's an issue here because in him harassing a dwarf, he is reacting to someone else harassing me. So it's been kind of, but that's what this whole movie's about. It's like the inception of that. Like, just imagine for a second how wild that is. And I just wanted to turn that into something that like everyone can relate to, everyone can get something positive out of, because it's been a tough 2 years for everybody,
So the website again is Dear Normal Size People, or what is it? Sorry, I don't know. I just want maybe you better say it.
Dear Ethan.
No. DearEthan.com. Oh shit.
DearEthan.com.
Jesus Christ.
No, it's Dear Average.
Dear normal sized people. That's what Ethan says. It's like a joke, man. And he'll continuously say, M word. I mean, little person. Sorry if that offended you. I'm just accurately repeating what this person said.
People.com. We are in the last 2 weeks of our fundraiser. We just really, I was shooting some early this year, and I'm sure like it's just expensive,
Oh yeah, definitely.
And I'm at a point where I'm an actor, and I've been at studios auditioning for stuff, and I know other little people as well, and there's no studio is going to take a risk on people with dwarfism right now. So considering the community and people actually seem like the viewers want it, I was like, let's fundraise, let's see what we can do. And again, you are the real G for having a person with dwarfism on H3. That's iconic.
Well, you're the real G, and thank you for kind of coming on. And I apologize for Jimmy and my dad, but honestly, you handled it well and you broke through to them. So shout
your dad
the
too.
fuck out.
I love your dad. I was there through the whole frenemies,
Good.
families.
Thank you. You're very gracious.
I'm wearing the Teddy.
I noticed that. You look great. I love that shirt, by the way, too. That's one of my favorites.
This one was made for people with dwarfism, so I think this was coming. You have a lot of people with dwarfism on your side, Ethan.
Okay, shout out, dude.
Shout out to the dwarfism.
Yeah, love that.
Shout out to all the Redditors too. You guys are like.
Yeah, people are. Sometimes the people in this community are really nice, and I love that. Sometimes, but yeah, like on the subreddit, like you pointed out. I mean, the post had 3,000 points, and everyone's just super nice and supportive, and that's nice. That's a beautiful thing. But Aubrey, I'm gonna put the link to your website in the description. I want to thank you so much for calling in and being a total sweetheart and representing.
Wait, Ethan, do you have any questions about dwarfism, real quick?
I'm just surprised.
Yeah, I mean, look at this. Look at this. He platforms this guy who's like, oh, I'm so afraid of people with dwarfism. And you can find compilations of Ethan. And in fact, I might just play some right now where he's talking about he's talking about people with dwarfism. And he's doing the same joke that he does over and over again. Oh, is it someone with dwarfism, or should I call them like the M word? Although obviously he says the actual word. Is saying munchkin bigoted? Like he does this so much. And let's see if I can find anything. Let's see. Yeah, like Ethan is not actually interested in. He's not actually interested in like educating people on this. Like let's just see this. What's this?
Because do you know what's the weirdest one? Little people. Oh, isn't that so derogatory? So hey, little guy.
Yeah, little guy.
Hey, I got a bunch of little guys.
Now, what would be a better option?
What?
Offer up some options.
But what was
for
the
them
problem
besides
with
little
midget?
people.
I'm sorry if I'm.
Happy.
What is the problem
I'll
with?
call Happy. Hey, Happy.
No, I really don't know. Is midget like?
Well, I grew up
a
calling
bad
it
word?
midgets, but I guess apparently, people probably started to use it derogatory. Like I would go to Bobby because he's a little shorter and say, "What's up, midget?"
Yeah.
Yeah. I think, but dwarf was never used in a derogatory way.
Yeah, what's the problem?
Because dwarf is
or I guess
right?
they're different.
So dwarf is a
medical term.
Yeah.
Exactly. They're different. The midgets and the dwarfs, they don't like each other.
Why?
They're at war with each other.
But
Have you seen
dwarf-
Willow? You remember
dwarves are-
Willow?
How smarter because they have bigger heads?
Dwarves are smarter, and then midgets have magical powers. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, it's in Willow.
Yeah, Willow.
So I'm not playing this to just like make, oh my god, isn't this an outrageous thing that Ethan did? The reason I'm playing it is to demonstrate that Ethan has had this history of kind of, at the very least, being extremely flippant about this like group, this minority group. And when he has someone on his show who's actually trying to educate him and educate the audience members of his show, then he doesn't actually take any interest in accepting that education and kind of correcting the record.
But I'm saying, like, just change it to be about a Wizard of Oz munchkin.
Many people are saying many.
Can you say munchkin? Because that's more of like, that's like a whimsical creature from Wizard of Oz.
Munchkin isn't offensive?
Well, I guess calling a little person a munchkin would be offensive, but I'm saying, like, just change it to be about a Wizard of Oz munchkin.
People are saying mini matzo. That's not bad. Mini matzo.
Yeah, but he's considered a munchkin. He's coined a munchkin. I don't know. I don't know the politics in Oz.
Is munchkin a derogatory word?
Written in Wicked, it is a part of that world. I don't know about this world.
Wizard, I think if you call a little person a munchkin, they'd probably be upset.
I think so too.
Munchkins are like it's like Hobbit and Lord of the Rings. You know what I mean? They're like mice in Oz.
So is the word munchkin from Wizard of Oz, or does it predate Wizard of Oz?
You know, I don't know.
Because if it predates it, then it's derogatory in
Let's
Wizard
see,
of Oz.
munchkin etymology.
They use that term munchkin for food, donuts, or there's munchkin donuts. So does that gotta go away?
It's from the Munchkins, depicted as a race of small, childlike creatures in Frank Baum's The Wonderful Wizard of Oz.
Okay,
He made it
yeah,
up.
he's good. That's pretty impressive by him.
Munchkin?
Say that? Is that a bad word? Munchkin?
I don't know. I feel like you call him anything.
How would that be a bad word?
I don't
Correct
know.
me if I'm wrong, but a munchkin is a fantasy character. It is not an actual creature.
Anyway, he's made that joke, so like he's very clearly not interested in actually educating his audience or himself on anything that he's been talking about. And let's just continue watching this end of the segment and see if Ethan actually does ask any kind of questions to inform himself at all, whatsoever.
I'm just so surprised. Like, I'm just so surprised to hear that. Like, who's walking around hating dwarves? It's just psychotic. It's just crazy. Like, what I don't even understand the root of that. You know what I mean?
As someone too with dwarfism, like I struggle, and I think that's why I'm okay with it, because I'm like, what legs, like what part of the bottom of the barrel do you have to be in your life to like really think it would be funny to follow someone around just doing something normal and then film them, like what, and then say derogatory things on top of it, upload it to accounts dedicated just to stuff like that.
It's crazy, man.
It's giving bottom shelf. So
yeah.
The onwards and upwards. Representation is going to help this, guys. Representation will help this.
All right. Thank you, buddy. Aubrey, legend. Thank you so much. Thanks for calling. All right. You take care.
Thanks, Aubrey.
God bless.
Oh my goodness. My player is dying. Okay, so yeah, and this was a bit of a damage control thing. They obviously brought him on for that Jimmy Lee segment, and then they're like, holy shit, that did not go well. Let's just bring him on and promote his stuff. So that's what he did. And let's take a look. Okay, so we read Ethan's Instagram where he says, man, this dude is going to look so effing dumb when we're back. So obvious with his comment. He's scraping for any clout he can get from this new wave of H3 hate. Jesus, man, Ethan has really fallen off. Like, I know he didn't really care about what Aubrey had to say during that initial podcast appearance, but just the level of vitriol and hatred that he's exhibiting right now is completely different from the person he was like even a year ago. I see you trying to erase shit too. Don't worry, we have it all saved. Why the F would you even make this video? Jake Doolittle levels of self-owning. Enjoy the new year, dipshit. So just remember, this was a video about the criticism. Like, he was criticizing that Jimmy Lee segment where he has every right to criticize him. And apparently that segment was so bad that it's been paywalled. And the only thing that they played on the actual podcast was an extremely edited down version. One that was so chopped up that pretty much everyone in the crew congratulated the editor for trying to salvage any kind of coherency that wouldn't get them demonetized from YouTube. They're like, wow, you really did a good job editing that. So let's listen to Let's listen to the response. And I think this is the response to Ethan's tweet. This might be a longer one, but let's check it out.
Hi everyone, I'm going to talk about this once and then we're moving on. I posted a video today about a podcast appearance that I was on 2 years ago, and although I did not disclose the name or the podcast that I was on, the viewers have figured it out. So I wanted to address the comments and questions in the recent Instagram post that Ethan Klein made about me a few minutes ago. This is a deeply personal and important topic for me, so I wanted to take some time to set the record straight and share my side of the story. There's been a lot of conversation from Ethan Klein's fans about me trying to clout chase by sharing this story, which again, never mentioned his name, and that I'm trying to capitalize off of Ethan's current situation. That couldn't be further from the truth, so I wanted to make this video to explain everything in full context. In 2022, I was a listener of a podcast, and there was one episode where they were talking about phobias and fears of little people, and proper wording for people with dwarfism. At the time, they were using slurs that most of us know are not appropriate, but I figured it would be a great opportunity to see if I could get on the show to talk about the proper verbiage and to educate people on dwarfism.
They knew it was not appropriate, but they used it anyway, because once again, they get off on being politically incorrect, but pretending like they just don't know, and they're operating in this space of, I need to criticize this person, I need to correct this person, but I'm going to use the same bigoted language they're using.
As someone with dwarfism myself who experiences in-person and online harassment just because of the fact that I have a disability, I was hoping that this appearance would help bridge the gap of understanding and start some meaningful dialogue. Unfortunately, during the episode, I was subjected to ableist jokes and comments about little people that made me really uncomfortable. I kept my composure and smiled at the time. It was really hurtful, to be honest. I didn't even know how to process it in the moment except for doing what I do best, which is putting a smile on things and trying to spin it in a positive direction. Immediately afterwards, I emailed the crew asking if I could come back on the show during a live segment to talk about what I wanted to talk about in the first place, because I was worried that just the segment we had filmed would leave a bad taste in people's mouths and make them assume that I was part of this joke that I was never keyed in on. So I was on the show again a few days later after the segment we had pre-filmed aired, and they played it again and then had me come on to talk about it. And I just stayed positive because I was hoping that if I was positive and I was focusing on the good, that people would forget about the segment essentially. I was hoping that by focusing on kindness and grace and showing empathy, that would go farther and people would remember me by that as opposed to what happened during that segment. Ethan and the crew talked on the show, that episode, the live one, about how they had to edit a lot of stuff down, so I hope that maybe one day they'll release the full video so that you can see all of the jokes that I was subjected to that didn't even make it into the final cut. After the episode and the days following, I posted on the subreddit thanking the host and the crew for having me on because I wanted to focus on the positives, which was that the audience was actually really lovely to me, and I think really understood the message that I was trying to convey, despite having to fight people who just were refusing to see my humanity during that. I didn't want to stir up controversy because I had no followers on the internet at the time, and this podcast and the host had millions of followers, and I also hadn't fully processed what had happened since the segment just had come out. So I figured if I stayed kind and positive, that people would focus on the educational purpose of my appearance as opposed to everything else. As time went on though, I reflected on that experience more and more. I realized that these ableist jokes weren't just one-off harmless jokes. They were a part of a larger pattern of influencers on YouTube and social media using their platforms to perpetuate harmful jokes and ideologies about little people. I never once in my time since then have mentioned Ethan by name or the podcast by name or encouraged people to figure out what it is, but I have talked about this in depth.
I mean, I know this is supposed to be a political episode, but the comparisons between what Ethan Klein is doing with this guy and little people is so similar to what he's been doing with Gaza, where every now and then he'll mention like, oh, I donated $2,500 to Palestine, and you say that I'm anti-Palestinian, and you say that I'm pro-genocide and I'm a Zionist. I donated $2,500 there. How can I be a Zionist? I support Palestinians. They'll be like, I say that it's a genocide happening. How am I a Zionist? But what is the rhetoric that he's been doing this entire time? He's been defending an ethno-state. He's been defending the ethno-state of Israel the entire time. It's the exact same with this guy. He brings him on as a joke, he's literally a punchline to a joke of the Jimmy Lee comedian segment. He brings him on as a punchline to a joke, and then he brings him on again because Aubrey realized that was a complete joke of an appearance. I didn't get my message across at all that we need to respect little people. And literally the end of the joke is Jimmy Lee making a joke about how he's going to throw up now either because he had to interact with a little person or because he was so embarrassed. That's the end of the segment that they showed. And so Aubrey rightly is like, can I come on to actually try to educate people about this minority group that you have been like platforming the bigotry of? And Ethan's like, okay. And Ethan's like, all right, give me your plug for your website and for your show, and then give me your little spiel. And he's like, well, can I like educate you any more about little people? And Ethan's like, I just think it's crazy that people are harassing you. All right, bye now. And then Ethan goes on to be like, oh, well, is that the M word, is that the correct terminology, or is it munchkin or little people or dwarfs? And he goes on, and he doesn't change anything. But if he ever gets called out on being bigoted towards the little people, he can say, well, I had this one guy on this one time, so why are you saying that I'm bigoted? I had him on one time. It's the exact same thing with Palestine. Donated once, and now he can be as Zionist as he wants, but he has that excuse. He brought a little person on once to advocate for about 2 minutes, and now he can be like as flippant as he wants about when discussing the proper labels of little people.
On my main account, Aubrey Smalls, on TikTok, but also on Instagram as well. Now Ethan is claiming that he has proof that I was okay with the appearance, and people are upset because I've deleted the posts today on Reddit and Instagram celebrating the appearance. And that's honestly just because those posts don't accurately represent how I feel, and I feel that they're being used to invalidate my experiences and to ignore the fact that there was a lot of ableist rhetoric going on, that the segment was harmful, regardless if people think it was a joke or not, and that those posts are not proof of anything but those moments right after the podcast where I was trying to stay positive and pivot in a more positive direction. For those calling me a clout chaser or saying that I'm hopping on a hate train because the host is currently under some controversy, that is just so far from the truth. I've been speaking about this for years now and never once mentioned the name or the podcast, which would be something you would do if you were looking for clouts. This is about advocating for fairness and respect, not about hating or canceling people. I understand that fans of the podcast may feel defensive or upset, but I urge you to see it from my perspective as someone who is subjected to hurtful language about literally my body and the way it looks every single day, and then to have that put into a video form with 1.1 million views as of today. Just because one audience might see a set of jokes funny or harmless doesn't negate the fact that they can be harmful to the larger disability community. There is no timeline for when you're allowed to feel uncomfortable by a situation where, regardless if you want to admit it, ableism was perpetuated. And I think especially at the time, I think it's a very normal experience for people to have, to sometimes freeze up in the moment and go, I'm just going to play along because I just want to get out of the situation and I don't want this to be forever how people perceive me. Which again explains why I was trying to be so positive afterwards and thankful. I never want to burn bridges with anybody, which is why I thanked the crew, still thank the podcast host for allowing me the opportunity to come on.
So I just want to make the point that like it is so incomprehensible to me that Ethan Klein will say, you made a post thanking me for this appearance. Thus, what you are saying now about how you feel about the appearance is a lie. It's not that this, and you are just jumping on a bandwagon of hatred against me. It's not that you made the post to try to maintain a relationship with me, which is like the biggest show and the most exposure he's had, at least in his YouTube career, like for sure. It's not that. It's not that you made those Reddit posts so that you could actually try to come on to the podcast itself to have a real conversation about dwarfism and how it's being represented in your podcast specifically and YouTube in general. It's not any of that. It's that you were genuinely happy and you still genuinely are happy that you went on to my podcast, but now you were just lying by saying that you felt you were being discriminated against on my show. And you are just doing that for clout and because a lot of people are hating me right now. So, like, it's so crazy. It's literally, I mean, it's not literally the same thing, but it is the same type of thing that conservatives will do when they say that women coming out and saying that they were sexually assaulted by like usually it's a conservative person, by a conservative person, are just doing so because that person has a lot of hatred. Why didn't you come out earlier? Why did you say that it was consensual then and now you're saying that it's non-consensual? You were just lying for clout. You're just lying because all of these people are coming out against this person and you're trying to take them down. It's invalidating the idea that people can take time to kind of internalize and come to face their emotions about a certain issue. Like, obviously, when you are faced with extreme bigotry on a show that you were expecting to come on and educate people, you're not going to immediately be able to process the emotions that are going through you right now. And in the immediate aftermath, of course, you're going to say, I had a great time on this show. Can I please come on and promote my stuff more? Please come on in a different circumstance and actually talk about like the very real challenges that little people are facing. So it is a very reactionary thing that Ethan's doing by invalidating Aubrey's emotions and his feelings about this podcast, saying that, well, you made a post 2 years ago and now you're contradicting that post, thus you are lying now, even though you're telling me how you feel now. What you're saying now is a lie, and I'm going to go off of this post you made 2 years ago when you're still trying to promote your brand and still trying to like come on to my podcast. So yes, it's invalidating his opinions. It's a very reactionary mindset, and it is extremely self-centered by Ethan. He cannot imagine the idea that his show was actually promoting bigotry. He cannot imagine the idea that a guest came onto his show and had a poor experience on his show and felt discriminated against because of the bigotry that Ethan Klein is allowing to be on his show. No, it's the fact that he said he had a great time on the podcast in the past, thus that is correct. And now when he's coming out and saying that he didn't have a good time on the podcast, that must be a lie. And he's just doing it so he can attack me. Once again, it all comes back to Ethan. It's all because these guys are hating on Ethan. It's nothing that Ethan did to make these people's feelings bad. It's that they changed their feelings to attack Ethan. So it's extremely reactionary. It's extremely invalidating of this guy's feelings. Of course, this segment was bigoted, and it's insanely self-centered. That's why I can never, like, I do not have a big ego, and I would never imagine that I'm correct over the feelings of someone when they're telling me their feelings. That is just so insane to me. But that's just the size of Ethan's ego that we're talking about here.
I know some people are also asking, why didn't you tell him you were uncomfortable? Why didn't you tell him to take the video down? And I would encourage you to think about power dynamics and how those come into play when someone like me, who's already marginalized and harassed and made fun of on the internet, who has no platform, telling someone with millions of followers to take a video down. And mind I tell you, I did say that I was uncomfortable with the episode that we filmed, which is why I wanted to come back on again to kind of start anew. How many times have you been at your job and maybe your boss or manager has said something to you that you have not agreed with or not felt comfortable with, but you didn't feel like you could tell them directly, hey, don't do that again, please? Power dynamics are a real thing, especially when it comes to influential figures. I think the people who continue to fight against ableism, it means the world to me knowing that so many of you care so deeply about things like this and want to see an equal and inclusive world for all where nobody would find jokes about phobias of disabled people in our bodies appropriate or comedic, or something that should be platformed. And despite the comments on Reddit being made about me in an ableist way, despite the DMs and messages that I'm getting and comments on these videos, I encourage you to move with kindness in response to them, because there's not going to be any good done by fighting fire with fire. I love you guys. Keep going.
Yeah. So, and Aubrey is extremely based, and I agree with him a lot. So that was his response. Oh shoot, I kind of wanted to read the comments on there. Let's just search it up really quick. Aubrey. Okay, here we go. Response from Aubrey. So we read a little bit about Oh yeah, this one. We read a little bit of the comments here. He says he deleted that post. Why is that? Damn, he's really trying to hide how fickle he is. Why is that so funny? And deleted this Reddit post. Can still see the title and comments on it though. God, why people do this? Is the H3 clout that good? And why they always do this when the pod is on a break? It's just cowardly behavior. Man, his audience is so far gone right now. I'm unclear what exactly he thought was going to occur, but I don't think he was the joke. Gary and Jimmy were the joke, not to mention that Gary and Jimmy are old men who are openly not PC. No one is going to educate them on anything. Kind of seems like he's just trying to cash in on Ethan's crash out. So that's so funny. First of all, cash in what way? He made, what, 2 TikToks? How much money can you actually get from there? And second of all, he's literally saying they are 2 old men who are not going to be educated on anything. Then why bring on a little person to educate them on dwarfism? So he's literally like contradicting himself in the middle of the sentence. Yeah, that's kind of the problem with satire. We often see people use satire as a shield to just dog whistle whatever their bigoted opinion is, that when actual satire happens, it's genuinely hard to discern. This isn't satire. They literally brought a little person on to 2 old fucks that are shitting on little people. Like, from our perspective, Jimmy, Lee, and Gary are the joke. Obviously, to us, what they say is so absurdly out there that it wraps past being effed up to platform and back to it being comedy. But if you aren't in on the joke, you're just watching 2 old men. Yeah, I mean, that's literally what happened. And you can say, this is what I was talking about, how Ethan Klein gets off on the idea where he's laughing at bigotry, but what he is really doing is platforming bigotry, and he exists in this space where he can be bigoted because he's just restating what the bigoted people are saying. So he's not saying that little people are magical and there's like dwarves versus M words. He's just saying that he's just stating that that's what people believe, right? And that's exactly what he does about Israel and Palestine too. He'll say like, well, I don't think that if we got rid of the borders, all of the Israelis would die, all of the Jewish Israelis would die. I'm just saying that that's what they think. I'm just restating that all Israelis think that Palestinians are subhuman. I'm not saying they're subhuman. He's such a fucking coward, dude. This is what Ethan Klein does all the time. And then this is the response. Wait, this is another response?
For having me on, because I wanted to focus on the positives, which was that the audience was actually...
So this is the Reddit post. Let's see if I can go full screen here. Aubrey, the person with dwarfism who called in, thank you to Ethan, the crew, and everyone in chat for being so welcoming and respectful, and shout out to Cam for the editing. If anybody wants to donate to our film, we have 60. So yes, he was literally promoting his film in this shout out. Doing my part 1 conversation, Aubrey Smalls. I mean, that's okay. So then we can read the comments here. I never said the name of the podcast. Brother, you aren't a super famous celebrity. I think this pretty much narrows it down to 1 or maybe 2 appearances. I mean, you'd only really know this if you're a fan of H3. Well, I was just about, okay, so they're picking him out on that. It's fine for them to be uncomfortable with it later on. They just didn't need to lie about small details in the first video. What are the small details? Seen a few comments making fun of their dwarfism on here. Why are they using like them and their? Is that Aubrey's pronouns? Like, it's totally fine if he doesn't like Ethan in the show anymore and maybe even regrets what's going on, but it's also fine to say you did have a positive experience but no longer are a fan. You don't have to lie and reframe the appearances to say you don't approve of Ethan. What? First of all, he didn't say he doesn't approve of Ethan anymore. He just says that he does not think that that was a positive appearance anymore. This is insane. This is a symptom of people not in the H3 universe just seeing post that. I'm not even going to read that. That was really stupidly written. Agreed, but it also works the other way. Too many in this community will blindly defend what could be a learning moment and instead create an echo chamber. Dude, they literally, Ethan and his crew were literally using slurs. I mean, just one more time. This is like, Ethan does have a history of like using slurs against little people. We can just find it pretty easily. Like, what is this?
1, 2, 3, for.
Okay, I'm done. That was horrible. I mean, and then there was that clip with Bobby Lee. Yes, he has a history of using slurs. He lied about his experience, and then people called him out for lying about it because the show is still available and everyone can see he is lying. That no one on the crew made fun of him, and he had an interview on the show having a great time, and days after made posts here on Reddit and Instagram about his positive experience on the pod. Dude, this is like a schizo post. What is happening? Where's the punctuation? This person is like in a manic state. Just like insane run-on sentences. Yeah, and then they're just pointing out I wasn't cloud chasing because I didn't name them. Wow. Yeah. So yeah, they're not actually addressing what he had to say at all. They're just saying, man, they're really just saying he's cloud chasing. Seems like they just couldn't resist getting newfound attention. I tried to go screen cap because I noticed he was deleting other stuff. I don't care too much about this situation, but I think people should remember that people can change their feelings about things. Like, he might have thought it was wonderful at the time, but with time felt differently. It could have also gone the opposite way too. So just because he was fine with it before doesn't mean much now. But that's not what he's claiming. He's not claiming he thought it was a wonderful experience at the time, but looking back, he realized he was just a butt of a joke. He's claiming he knew he was a butt of the joke right then and there because he said he wanted to cuss them out, but didn't because he's a class act. Yeah, that's true. But then he had a decent appearance afterwards where he thought he actually made some kind of push. Oh my God. These people are actually insane. How are you even defending this? So, yeah, that's Ethan with his Aubrey Smalls criticism. And yeah, he's definitely been attacking him, and I guess he's going to be bringing up Reddit stories afterwards. And now let's go to Let's go to this. So I think this is crazy. Also, this is going to be part 2 of our segment today. So this is a Mika's Rhetoric video. So Mika's Rhetoric made a video criticizing Ethan, and I'm not really gonna watch it, but I just think it's interesting to look at the reaction to her video based off of like the H3 reaction to it. So what do we have here? Am I insane? That girl's video was unhinged, and it's just a lot of pearl clutching over innocuous jokes Ethan has made, and to claim it is nuanced is befuddling, flabbergasting, and bamboozling. She also claimed many people on the crew are centrists, like Goral. Are we breathing the same air, let alone watching the same pod? And this person says, I watched Mika's video and she seriously couldn't have been more respectful and nuanced. Ethan must have some kind of personality disorder to think every criticism is an attack on his character. And then we have, so Ethan is responding to her video, which is funny. So he says, another dummy taking a ticket and getting in line. Lots to talk about when we return. So once again, kind of the theme of this whole video today is that Ethan Klein is having a just picture perfect winter break. Just stacking up a bunch of enemies, and then he's going to knock them down when he gets back. Another dummy taking a ticket and getting in line. Lots to talk about when we return. And I don't even know what the video was. He just screenshots, I think it's her, like she, her pronouns. He screenshots her channel. LOL, So this is the comment. Just clicked on this video and I immediately wanted to say that you're showing a lot of courage just speaking about H3 because his fans are nuts. And so is Ethan about anyone who speaks about him in general. I have no idea what you'll say, of course, but I'm proud of you in a very parasocial way. Don't ever let internet goblins keep you from making the videos you want to make. And it's so funny. Ethan's literally screenshotting this comment that's saying Ethan and his fans are going to be rabid against her for making this video. And he's putting it on blast. So he's saying LOL. And then this is just so funny. So this is the comment that Ethan talked about, and he edited his comment, or she, I don't know who wrote this. And the commenter says, Ethan, since you have to retreat to Instagram stories to avoid critical responses, and I seem to have caught your attention, you can attack smaller content creators and random anonymous commenters all you want, but their criticisms will remain true. Since you like quoting Kendrick Lamar, this is a lifelong battle with yourself. Hilarious. So yeah, Ethan putting this channel on blast on his Instagram and laughing at the idea that his audience is going to go after her and criticize her. And then this is what we get in her comment section. This video was terrible. If you can't be bothered to research things, why talk about it? Just skimming over the pirate stuff is crazy. Scary that this brain might start teaching the children of this world, because apparently Mika is a teacher. Yeah, that's what is generally frightening. This woman is a teacher, yet can't even be bothered to do any critical analysis and is showing all the clear signs of a confirmation bias is pretty alarming. Girl, you still have time to delete this. Wait, no you don't. Your anxiety is about to hit a new level because of your poor decision to make this lazy video filled with misinformation, and Ethan is going to cover it on his show. So, Yemeni teenager is literally a Houthi terrorist. That's what this other comment writes. So yes, what is happening right now? How did Ethan's community go from, like 2 years ago, Aubrey saying you have a very wonderful community, a lot of people have been reaching out and been very gracious to me and like having a Q&A, to now they are rapidly attacking anyone making content about Ethan Klein, and just misinformation too. And they're rapidly attacking her and laughing because Ethan is going to attack her too. This is an extremely toxic community that Ethan Klein is creating right now, where his community members will dogpile a creator and kind of like blow them up. They'll send the information to Ethan. Ethan will then amplify that information and kind of send a signal to his fans to dogpile them even more. It's a very toxic community that he has created over the last couple of months. I'm sorry, man, this sucks. I'm sorry I listened and hoped for you to prove me wrong, but you and the sheeple alike are truly doomed, as well as sketchy in more ways than one. How inaccurate. Plus you have a license to teach? Frightening. No need to categorize me with H3. This is a general problem the public exhibits more every day. Feelings should never get in the way of facts. Yikes. So he's not in the H3 fandom, I guess. Well, the well poisoning is crazy. Nuanced Convo starts by demonizing all of his fan base with the fear of a response. Grow up, say your opinions with a spine, and take what comes with them. Not saying you deserve hate, but people are going to criticize you for this lazy video, and you aren't above criticism. H3 also deserves to respond. So, how many views does this video have? Again, I haven't watched it. I think she has a pretty big channel. Mika's Rhetoric. Has this video been blowing up? Kind of curious. What are the top comments? Ethan Klein comes from Mika's Rhetoric. So Mika's Rhetoric, okay. 52.7 thousand subscribers.
Hi everyone, it's me again, and
93k views. Girl, I can't believe you got under his skin. I'm a little bit parasocial of you. Hope this doesn't dull your sparkle. Stay strong. So yeah, I guess she's getting harassed. It is really sad that people who were worried about harassment as soon as this was posted were 100% right. Ethan added you to his Insta stories, inspiring stuff without watching your video, just a heads up. Okay, so a lot of people are giving her support, but man, a lot of like dark comments. To the people that threatened her job, no school is going to fire her for criticizing a YouTuber. So yeah, she has been threatened, like her job has been threatened. So we can see. I'm kind of hoping after Ethan puts you on blast in a week, you won't be able to teach again. Somebody like you shouldn't be influencing young minds. So, yeah, Jesus Christ. You played with fire. I mean, these comments aren't getting a lot of likes, but still, like, how are people? She doesn't have to give us permission. We already have the name of the school she teaches at. Like, what is happening right now? Even though these don't have that many likes, how are people posting that? How do people feel so strongly about Ethan Klein that they're threatening to get this person fired? Here's what's strange about it. The anxiety comment, Ethan has literally said that it was negative comments that made him finally start taking antidepressants because it was just getting to him too much. But these fans are happy to put someone else through that same thing, as if this lady did anything as offensive or as in bad taste as Ethan. All she did was make a video critical of him. And what are they going to say when they contact the school she works at? Like, she made a video on my emotional support Zionist content creator and it hurt my fifis, please fire her. I mean, they'll just say that she's like doing bad stuff online, which, to be fair, if you're a teacher, you really shouldn't be putting yourself out there. If you want to make a YouTube channel, do it anonymously. That's the one thing I learned with both of my parents being teachers. So yeah, this is gross, man. Like, Ethan has really started attacking her. I have to shout out this comment, finally an accurate take on Ethan's political views. Ethan has been very tame in my opinion. I'd be losing my effing mind if that many people misrepresenting my political and moral views weren't even willing to directly address anything I've said, and all the rebuttals were based off of biased videos that don't show full clips. I'm not even going to read this comment, like, I don't really care that much. I mean, yeah, reminder that all this controversy started because Ethan unfollowed Frogan for calling the killing/kidnapping of Israeli citizens the start of a leftist revolution, and Hassan said Ethan needed to be more charitable to her. A Jewish man with an Israeli wife not being okay with indiscriminate killing of Israeli Jews is not a mental health crash. I mean, it really started when he started attacking Hassan, right? So yeah, people misrepresenting Ethan's position. Wow, you want no one to die? Your abuse is sick. So very funny stuff, and this is just showing like how crazy the H3 fandom has really become, where they are extremely rabid and extremely sensitive to any kind of soft pushback against their favorite content creator. Yeah, so we can close this down. So yeah, Ethan having a great time. Mika, your days are numbered, girl. What is this? She called Dan socially conservative, LMAO. Did she get confused with fiscally conservative? Literally, who are these people? I'm so tired of hearing academically sourced, nuanced historical analysis video essay. It's like they found out they can use her being in English to cosplay as a documentarian. No one cares, and it's so cringe to me. Okay. I mean, I'm glad that these aren't like extremely evil and unhinged attempts to get her fired from her teaching job. I'm 99% convinced that everyone who says they're an educator to farm credibility just teaches first grade or something. Oh my god, like that's not an educator. Like you don't need a degree to be able to teach for first grade. Crazy. Maybe I should watch this video sometime, but to be honest, I don't really feel like watching it. Maybe I will. Who knows? Okay. All right. So let's finish up on Ethan's Instagram, and then I have one more segment for you, which I just think is hilarious. So this is so funny to me. So Ethan has really been posting a while, and he goes onto Instagram. This is just so funny. This is the perfect full circle moment for Ethan's Instagram. So Ethan says, Instagram restricted my account because I posted about the Houthi flag and Myron Gaines' anti-Semitic rant. Ironically, they think I'm a Nazi who shares terrorist propaganda. How little effort goes into effing over a 2 million follower account. So there's just so many good things here. Like, Ethan has fully gone into his Karen moment. This is extremely reminiscent to Jordan Peterson, who said that he posted CP to show how easy it was to find CP on Twitter. And then he gets banned for posting CP. And this is Ethan, who, in his fucking manic rage to try to find anti-Semitism, he reposts it on Instagram. It's like, okay, so he posted the Houthi flag. So Ethan is literally posting the Houthi flag and Myron Gaines. Like, Ethan has posted the Houthi flag like 100 times more than Hassan has at this point. Once again, to remind everyone, Hassan had the Houthi flag in like 5 pixels of his computer screen in one frame of a music video that he watched once. Ethan's played the music video multiple times. Ethan's pulled up the Houthi flag multiple times on his channel. And so once again, he's had it way more than Hassan has. And now okay, so yes, posting. So that's like a Jordan Peterson moment. And then the Karen moment of saying how little effort goes into effing over a 2 million follower account. So he's like, do you know how big my account is? And you're going to restrict me? My account has over 2 million followers. Like, I just can picture Ethan getting pulled over, like drunk, and he's stumbling out of his car. He's like, do you know how many subscribers I have? Like, that's a mental image I get of Ethan right now. And then these are so he's like literally still posting it. We removed your story. Why this happened? The story may contain symbols, glorification or support of people and organizations we define as dangerous. This goes against our community standards on dangerous organizations and individuals. And then he writes, let's remember the lovely calling of the Houthi flag. God damn, Ethan is so unhinged. Dude, I just know he's like shitting on the toilet at like 1 a.m. Just like angrily posting the Houthi flag and be like, remember when Hassan played a Houthi propaganda music video? Thanks, guys. Silencing a Jewish person, condemning a Nazi. Good job. Dude, was the Myron Gaines rant hosted on Instagram? We removed your story. Why this happened? The story may attack a person or group based on who they are. And Ethan writes, remember, guys, Zionist does not mean Jew. 2. Twitch unbanned him, by the way, and it's a fucking like anti-Semitic rant that Myron Gaines did. Let's see. Myron Gaines Twitch. I don't see him on Twitch. Ban. Myron Gaines update. This was 2 months ago. Is he on Twitch? I don't know. He's not on Twitch. Myron Gaines does it again. Fresh and Fit rebanned on Twitch. Myron Gaines on X. We got banned on Twitch for being real. Myron Gaines updates. Twitch permanently banned Fresh and Fit because the Jews told them to. Every single time. Holy shit. Because the Jews told them to. Yeah, he is not unbanned on Twitch. So I don't know what the hell Ethan is doing. He's literally just like having angry tweets. I guess it doesn't tell us what time this took place, but let's see, 7 hours 102. So that's either 7 hours ago from like 1 a.m., which would be what, like 6? Or it's 7 hours ago from 1 p.m., which would be 6 a.m. So Myron is currently banned on Twitch. I don't know why he doesn't mention that. Oh yeah, this is in Hassan Piker's chat. Yeah, he's banned on Twitch. Also, he doesn't mention that Diddy G, his content, so I guess that's Destiny, said that he respected Myron more than any other human he knew. Doesn't fit his narrative. Yeah, Jesus Christ, like, why does he have a hate boner for Myron Gaines at like 1 in the morning? Anyway, I just thought that Karen moment was so funny from Ethan Klein. And then I think that's everything. So we went through this. Yeah, just once again, this is so funny. Let's take a look at what Ethan's community is talking about this. Oh, but that one person on the other post who said we were crazy for thinking Ethan's account was shadow banned. What do they have to say now? Oh yeah, so I guess now, oh yeah, his community's just complaining that Instagram is shadow banning Ethan Klein. Insane. It's just crazy, dude. It's crazy. Like, even if that's true, these people have an insane victim complex right now where they're criticizing Instagram, they're criticizing all of these like video essayists on YouTube for criticizing Ethan, they're criticizing Hassan. And let's get into the criticizing Hassan part now, because this is the funniest part, and this is going to be the final segment, but let's check it out. Let's check it out, because this is a whole saga. So I'm gonna start here. So this is a post on the H3 Productions subreddit. And I'm sorry, this is a very Reddit heavy episode, but it's kind of like the best way to keep up with this whole dumb drama. Check this out. This is so funny. This just says Hassan suddenly doesn't like Teddy Fresh. What a genuine person. Let's listen.
But I'm still pasty as shit. Oh my God, who is that? Rocking the fucking Teddy Fresh. Ethan Klein in the building. 2022 leftovers era. God damn. Damn, that was a fit. That's the only Teddy Fresh shit that I actually really liked wearing. So you finally admit most is hideous? I'm not saying anything.
Oh man, that wasn't. Oh yeah. This one. So this is so funny. So he says this was the only thing that I liked wearing, and I guess it was this jacket. It was Teddy Fresh. The top comment is, someone please make a compilation of him putting in orders for his new Teddy Fresh clothes at the beginning of leftover episodes. This guy says, here you go, buddy. Let's check it out.
Rocking the fucking Teddy. God damn. Damn, that was a fit. That's the only Teddy Fresh shit that I actually really liked wearing. So you finally admit most is hideous? I'm not saying anything. I do want to, I was literally like ordering a bunch of stuff off the Teddy Fresh website.
TeddyFresh.com, new release.
I saw a shirt and I was like, yo, that shirt's sick. He's like, you want it? I'm like, yeah.
Yeah.
That's the only Teddy Fresh shit that I actually really liked wearing. But yeah, I want the oil spill shirt. We already put that down.
You got this one, the one I'm wearing. Yeah.
I want the oil spill pants. I guess it has to
the
go
shorts.
along with it.
Yeah.
Shorts.
Yeah.
That's the only Teddy Fresh shit that I actually really liked wearing.
For
I want
sure.
that Teddy Skull and Crossbones sweater, triple XL if you have it.
Which color?
The red one. That's the only Teddy Fresh shit that I actually really liked wearing. Yeah, I like that.
Dude, how nice is that?
That's cool.
We call it, it's a kind of a special technique we have. It's called watercolor brushed tie-dye.
Oh, that's hot.
Yeah, it's dope.
I've never seen that before. That's the only Teddy Fresh shit that I actually really liked wearing.
It's very unique.
I like the Teddy Fresh one in the middle too.
This one?
Between the two cardigans. Yeah, that one.
I'll get you that one.
That's the only Teddy Fresh shit that I actually really liked wearing. I like that polo t-shirt.
This one?
Yeah.
That's for women.
That's the only Teddy Fresh shit that I actually really liked wearing. Railroad denim carpenter pants.
Dude, the editing is so bad.
These?
Right there. Yeah.
Yeah, these I can get you.
Oh, really?
What's your waist size?
38. That's the only Teddy Fresh shit that I actually really liked wearing. They're pleated?
Fuck yeah, they're pleated, bro.
Okay, I want those too.
I'm
That's the only Teddy Fresh shit that I actually really liked wearing.
This is Hila's original art, by the way. Don't hurt my feelings, of course.
It's wonderful. It's wonderful. It's wonderful. It's wonderful.
Dude, who the fuck edited that? That was some painful editing. Okay, so this is so funny, dude. Once again, Ethan Klein's fan base has gone off the rails, but I can't blame them. They're literally a reflection of Ethan Klein. So Hassan says, yeah, that's the only Teddy Fresh clothes that I liked wearing. Because I think deep down, even the diehard H3 fans know that Teddy Fresh is ugly as fuck. And I think that's kind of the appeal of it. It's like ugly dogs, and how if a dog is so ugly, it's kind of cute. It's like if you wear ugly clothing, but you know it's ugly, then you kind of can pull it off. It's so good. So they're saying, OMG, Papa Bless. Rudely putting in his orders in all caps. He always had terrible manners when pricking his freebies. Do these people not realize that this is literally an advertisement for Teddy Fresh? To have a guy come on the show and talk about how much he loves all of these different clothing items? Hassan probably sold like thousands of Teddy Fresh clothes. Wow, all the other stuff aside, this really tells me so much about him as a person. Hila gave him all of those clothes for free, and he would specifically ask for certain pieces. What an asshole. Pieces that would also sell out instantly. What a self-report for being fake. So if you only like that one fit, why wear other things? You can be supportive of your friend without asking for other stuff. You're not obligated to wear anything. So which is it, being fake then or now? Looking eyes. He wore so much Teddy Fresh stuff all the time. He's so full of shit. There's just no reason to say that shit. Gila gave him all of that for free. He kept asking for it too. Literally came to say this. He'd blatantly say on air/camera which pieces he wanted. Like, have some fucking respect. You got these pieces for free because you were their friend. Bro, these people are A, crazily parasocial, and B, just straight up delusional and they have no awareness of what is going on. Let's just have a lesson in social interactions right now. When you come on to a show with millions of viewers and you say, I like these clothes that you're selling, you are doing a favor to that person. He doesn't have to go on camera and say, hey, can you send me that shirt? That interaction doesn't happen on camera. You are literally advertising their products. These people have never seen a commercial before, apparently. Second lesson, you can wear clothes that you buy, end up not liking them, and decide to not wear them again, and then say, I didn't like wearing the clothes. You can say, I didn't like clothes that I wore one time or multiple times, and not be lying. You cannot be a charlatan. I think those are the two things that I was saying. The first few minutes of Leftovers were literally him. It's an advertisement. Wait, what is this responding to? There's just no reason to say that shit. Healy gave him all of that for free. Because he has no principles. If you're on his bad side, he'll lie and twist the truth about you. Hassan has been mostly going after Gila during this whole... okay. Social lesson number 3. Hassan has not been attacking Ethan Klein nearly as much as Ethan has been attacking Hassan, and when Hassan does criticize Ethan, it's not for petty things like saying the Teddy Fresh is ugly. It was literally an offhanded comment because someone made a compilation of Hassan over the years and he saw himself in it. It's not like he has these segments about how Teddy Fresh is so hideous, like what Ethan does, where he tries to find segments, where he has segments where he tries to find clips of Hassan saying that you shouldn't vote for Kamala Harris. He makes segments of Hassan saying that Ukraine should get invaded by Russia. He has segments that Hassan is a misogynist, and the way he sets that up is by talking about Hassan's parody show that he did, the satirical misogyny that Hassan did, and then taking that at face value like Ethan's a fucking brain-dead moron. Hassan does not do any shit like that. And he makes one offhanded comment and all of these people freak the fuck out. There's literally almost 400 comments on this thread with 1.3 thousand upvotes. This is the introduction to this story. This is such a funny story. That's the only Teddy Fresh shit I actually liked wearing. Hassan generously giving away clothes to unhoused people, some of which are Teddy Fresh. Wait. Oh yeah, this one. LMAO, who's to bet that most of this is Teddy Fresh? Hassan makes a post and he says, there are more than 100 hoodies and jackets here, and this is 1/10 of all the merch I've gotten over the years. So he's giving away merchandise because obviously, as someone who goes on multiple different TV shows and podcasts and YouTube channels, he has a lot of merchandise because people are going to want to give Hassan merchandise because it is free advertising for their show. Look at all of the merchandise Hassan has. This is stuff that he doesn't wear, and he's going to give it away. And okay, so what is this? Reminder that at some point, I remember it vividly, and I know I've seen it clips since then. Ethan and Gila said they didn't want to donate old unsold stock because then the homeless would be out wearing it. It wouldn't be good for the brand. We don't really have a clip of that, so we can't take that at face value. That's what designer brands like Gucci and shit do. They'll have their unsold stock ripped to pieces before letting the poors get a hold of it. It's even worse for Teddy Fresh, though, because that shit is literally HM, handmade, being sold at boutique prices, garbage clothing, and garbage people. I don't know what HM is. Is that handmade? So Okay, so yeah, we don't know if that's like 100% true, but this just gets funny. So this is a video of Hasan giving. Yeah, this is. All right, let's start here. Let's start here.
We got shirts. First. You want a denim shirt? It's black. You'll never hear it again. I feel you. We got a black denim shirt. What about these pants? These are crazy.
Holy shit, those are sick.
You gonna keep going? I'm gonna keep going.
Those are sick, bro.
Looking like a polo shirt. Yeah, you want button-up shirts? Yeah. But they're crazy. No, you don't like that one?
He has so many Teddy Fresh clothes he's giving away. This is my type of comedy. This kind of shit makes me laugh so much. It's just so funny. It's like Hasan's like, yeah, I didn't like Teddy Fresh, but I had a podcast with a guy who had a clothing company. So like he would give me clothes for free advertising. So then when people watch my stream, they'd be like, oh, that's Teddy Fresh. Maybe I'll buy it. It's literally free advertising for Ethan. And the fucking people at Ethan's podcast are like, I can't believe what an asshole Hasan is asking for all of these clothes. And now that Ethan's been spending like the last quarter of the year 2024 attacking Hasan, calling him a terrorist, trying to get him banned from Twitch, Hasan's like, yeah, I'm gonna get rid of your ugly clothing because it's all ugly shit anyway, except for this one jacket. And everyone's like, well, you were so greedy asking for it, and I was giving it away to the homeless. And listen, nothing against the homeless, but if it's true that Ethan and Hila straight up did not want the homeless wearing their clothes, this is just like fucking peak irony.
Yeah, you want button-up shirts? Yeah. But they're crazy. No, you don't like that one? All right, hold up. No problem. What about this one?
The other thing that I love this so much. Hasan's like, okay, these clothes are crazy. And the people in the H3 subreddit are like, Hasan's poisoning the well by telling these people that he's giving them to that the clothes are crazy and have out there designs. They're so mad.
Nope, you don't like that one? All right.
My favorite is when people come up and he's like, oh, you want this? And they're like, no. I don't want that shit. That's ass, dude. That's ass. This shit is too crazy. It's so funny. No, it's just like there was one guy who came over and he pulled out all these like the Guy Fieri button downs, and the guy's like, no. He's like pulling all of them out. He's like, no, I don't want that.
It says send help on it.
It says send help on it. Okay.
So many more.
Okay, so that's so good. Let's look at this. I think this might be the same video. Hasan donates a bunch of Teddy Fresh clothes he got from Ethan and Hila. Okay. This is 55 seconds. I think this is the same clip.
You want a denim shirt?
Yeah, this is the same clip.
And the guy's like, no. He's like pulling all of them.
Okay.
Shirt? You want a denim shirt? It's black. You'll never hear it again.
All right. At least he's giving them to people who will wear them, though, trying to look on the bright side. Concerned face. Yeah, exactly. Nothing wrong with donating clothes. And then the next comment, oh, how do I undo it? He says he's exploiting homeless people for clout in their breakup. Oh my god. So I guess this is the go-to insult for all people defending Ethan now. They're saying that if you do anything that is tangentially like impacting Ethan at all, like Hasan is literally giving away his clothes. And they're saying that because Hasan's giving away his clothes, he's getting clout from Ethan. This video was unnecessary and in terrible taste. He could have donated without the exploitation of these people's situation. How exactly is he exploiting homeless people for clout when they explicitly did not film anyone without their consent? It's Hasan we're talking about. Of course it's performative donations. I mean, Jesus Christ. The guy literally streams like 24/7. He donates to so much charity just monetarily without telling people. And he does one stream where he's giving clothes away to people and they all freak out saying he's doing it for clout. Yeah, this guy writes, I was going to go donate some clothes this weekend, but I had to cancel those plans because my camera broke. So funny. It's so funny. Most of these clothes that get dropped off in those kind of boxes or even at donation centers get thrown away because they receive so much they can't keep the inventory. This is a much better way of going about redistributing unwanted clothes. They also rarely reach the people who need them. Hassan is also a bigger guy and it can be hard to find less clothes or find clothes in less popular sizes for homeless. It can be more beneficial to give out stuff like this than give it to a drop-off where it gets sorted and possibly sold before it makes it to who needs it to. I try to keep a pair of shoes in my car because it can be a pain for some homeless men with larger feet to get shoes that fit correctly. This is a lot different than the videos Ethan used to make fun of. Oh yeah, and then this is so funny. Wait, hold up. Hassan criticizes Mr. Beast because despite helping people, he's still exploiting less fortunate people for clicks. But isn't this the exact same? While Mr. Beast gives away millions and Hassan clothes he got for free, mind you, he's filthy rich making 7 figures a month. The more you think about it, the more ridiculous it is. So funny. So yeah, Hassan has never criticized Mr. Beast for helping people. What he's criticized is the system of government where we require YouTube or charity to make content out of helping people instead of just government helping people and performing eye surgeries for people with glaucoma to get better vision. Ew, this is so gross. Haha, not even these homeless people want their clothes. Imagine using the act of giving to further your internet beef. This is more insensitive than any Mr. Beast video. Yeah, that pissed me off, as if people in need don't have their own reasons for why they may pass on a particular item. Yeah, they're talking about how it's so ugly that even someone that got it for free wouldn't want the free shirt because it's so hideous. Such as wanting others to have a chance at receiving clothing that may not fit them or make them feel good. Dude, he didn't say he didn't want it because it doesn't fit. He said he doesn't want it because it's hideous. This is just so funny, dude. Of course he had to be filming it. It's not a good gesture if you can't virtue signal. Dude, Hassan films his entire life. He sends into his entire time streaming. Yeah, because he was working with an organization, waterdropla.org, so he's trying to raise funds for them as well as bring more attention to their cause. So there's actually some people in this community defending Hassan, donating clothes to homeless people. It's just so funny that he's getting attacked for giving clothes out to homeless people for free. Oh my god, dude. Okay. Alright, let's just read what this is. This is so petty and gross. Yeah, unhoused people aren't going to want to wear a bright shirt, not because they are picky or think Teddy Fresh isn't tasteful. Dude, they're literally saying, like, they don't want to wear the shirt, not because they're picky or they think it isn't tasteful. That's so funny. Yeah, they're like, no, this shirt is extremely tasteful. They just don't want to be more of a target for, let me think, police, jackers, traffickers. Yeah, because the thing that makes homeless people a target for basically violence is their bright and flashy clothing. We all know that. It's not the fact that they're forced to be out in the elements where that violence is going to come to them. It's the clothing they wear. Women that get sexually assaulted at parties aren't sexually assaulted because of the culture of rape and misogyny that this country has. It's because of the clothing they wear. These fucking idiots, dude. As someone who's once an unhoused youth, with a parent who lived on the streets and died on the streets, who currently helps unhoused people, F you, Hassan, you bourgeois, self-serving piece of shit. Watched his little meltdown too. He says filming is humanizing them. Nothing was humanizing about that. Humanizing is putting your effing phone down at the table and listening to the women who are telling you their goals for the area needing water, not looking at chat and then responding, yeah. He looks like a teenager who's getting required volunteering. Dude, he's okay. He's literally volunteering there. And he looks like he's required to do it. How is that the insult? If he was really amplifying the work these people do, he would have listened, looked them in the eye, asked questions, heard needs and barriers, shared with his audience. But when they were finished, he just looked up from his phone and said, yeah. And the black women speaking to him, taking time out of their day to share and go with him to make sure his ass is safe. Well, I mean, what are you talking about now, dude? You're saying like Hassan's unsafe by being in proximity to homeless people, hoping for some publicity. Barely got looked in the eye. He can't even humanize people working at an. Dude, he's literally putting them on stream. His cameraman was good. They had consent when they did film and otherwise didn't show faces. But when you are giggling, making jokes about the clothes you are handing out, dude, holy shit. Like the level of uncharitability towards Hassan in Ethan's community is off the charts at this point. Like he's literally trying to create camaraderie with the people that he's donating clothes to. Oh yeah, isn't this shirt crazy? Like you'd look cool wearing it. It's kind of wild though. Like you think you can rock these bright orange pants. That's the point of donating merch. It's not just like he needs to make it entertaining. It's entertaining if you're donating a bunch of different kinds of merch because those are usually kind of crazy clothes. It's literally like it's literally a gimmick to get people to watch. Oh yeah, I'm donating all of these merch. Why would Hassan make this post if it wasn't like, yeah, 100 hoodies and jackets here, and this is 1/10 of all the merch I've gotten over the years. Like it's specifically merch. Look at the clothes Hassan wears. He wears crazy shit. God. Where were we? It's incredible if you raise about 120K through the stream for Water Drop, but get Hassan a publicist in communication classes. He seems so awkwardly disconnected from emotions, empathy, and his own vulnerability. He comes off like a tool. I mean, Hassan is kind of autistic, right? So a little bit ableist from you there. Dude, these people are so crazy. All right, I'm done here. Let's just read what this person posted with 310 comments, 898 upvotes. The Teddy Fresh donation. It's kind of lame to film yourself donating clothes, even more so filming yourself donating clothes of your prior friend's brand that you heavily endorsed and complimented in the past. And an extra layer of lame to have asides, like not directly quoted but low-key toned. These less fortunate people don't even want these designer clothes. Haha, bro. All right, we just need to run this back. Do you get that vibe from this video? Because it seemed to me like Hassan was very clearly like interacting with the homeless people, and I don't even know if these people are specifically homeless he's donating the clothes to, but it seems to me like he's very clearly interacting with them on a human level and trying to talk with them as he would anyone else. He's not being like, oh, here, oh, you don't even want that? Wow, Felix, look, even he doesn't want it.
So many more. We got shirts. You want a denim shirt? It's black. You'll never hear it again. I feel you. We got a black denim shirt. What about these pants? These are crazy.
Holy shit, those are sick.
You gonna keep going? I'm gonna keep going. Those are sick, bro. Looking like a polo shirt.
I mean, Hassan says these pants are crazy, and the guy's like, those are sick.
Yeah, you want button-up shirts? Yeah. But they're crazy. No, you don't like that one? All right, hold up. No problem. What about this one? Nope, you don't like that one? All right.
Dude, it's like literally the most chill thing ever. Oh, you don't like that one? Okay, what about this one? Oh, you don't like that one? Here, what about this? Like, that's fine. What about this? How is he making... He's not like, oh my god, wow, even homeless people don't like these clothes.
Favorite is when people come up and he's like, oh, you want this? And they're like, no. I don't want that shit. That's ass, dude. That's ass.
Yeah, he's not saying that even homeless people are refusing it. He's just saying that, yeah, people don't want this because it's ugly as hell. He's laughing about the ugliness of the clothes.
This shit is too crazy. It's so funny. No, it's just like there was one guy who came over and he pulled out all these like the Guy Fieri.
All right, let me saw the rest of this. Okay, it's just all right. Let's finish this comment and then we'll wrap up this segment. I love Teddy Fresh, so I'm biased. Why can no one type anymore? Honestly, no. Fuck you. I'm not reading your comment. Misspelling stupid shit. Fucking idiots, dude. I'm not reading comments if they can't even type properly.
What? You got some crazy delusional people, man. Hassan donating Teddy Fresh clothing designed by Ethan and Hewlett homeless individuals with the intention of provoking a negative reaction by saying, but they're crazy. Try to make the recipients feel comfortable, criticizing the clothes he was giving them. What are you, dude? Why are you showing me this? This is just mental illness in display, dude. What the fuck? First of all, I don't even think they have any, like, that person that's saying that doesn't even know doesn't know the full story at all, doesn't realize that, like, it was clothing that I had, that I wasn't wearing, that had, it was clothing from numerous organizations, like merchandise from numerous organizations. That's number one. Number two, the idea that, like, Ethan and Gila are going to get mad is also ridiculous. You know what I mean? Like, disagreements aside, you're just making that inference. You know what I mean? Why the fuck are you making that inference for them? You're making them look bad. If you're a fan, okay, if you're a fan of Ethan Klein and Gila, and you are in your mind duking out this battle, if you're saying that they're going to be upset and just operating under the assumption that they're going to be upset, you're just making them fucking look bad.
Yeah, which I think is hilarious. Like, there's no way Ethan doesn't talk about Hassan donating Teddy Fresh clothes. Let's just take a look at what this post is. I'm sure you guys have seen the clips going around of Hassan giving away clothes to people on Skid Row, a lot of which is Teddy Fresh. The H3 sub is lit up over it, and I couldn't help but literally cackle because I did a very similar thing with my Teddy Fresh after Hila and Ethan's crash out. I was offering all the clothes to my friends and ended up just giving them to Goodwill because they wouldn't take them. Sucks because I've been a fan going on 7 years, but I can't do it anymore, man. I tried for way too long to give them the benefit of the doubt. Just thought that was a funny correlation I made today. And then people just talking about how they got banned. Low key was also kind of crazy because, like, they're making it seem as if Hassan was avidly saying he was giving Teddy Fresh away or doing it boldly on cam, but the stream was pointed at the ground a lot or not in full view. It's not as big of a deal as H3 sub is making it. And this is coming from someone who still watched the pod. It's getting annoying. My friend is helping me remove the Teddy Fresh brand patches from the hoodies I got. I'm putting a Palestine flag over the spot where the Teddy Fresh patch was and adding other patches. That's cool. Gave mine away during a clothing drive. That comment thread is wild. Man was literally just cleaning out his closet of things he doesn't wear but could get use elsewhere. I did the same last week and donated my items. They truly just want to think the absolute worst of him. It's sad that what that sub has become compared to 7 months ago. Yeah, it's actually crazy. And then here's kind of a positive comment, so we can end it on kind of this upbeat note. Look, I know the whole Hassan donation stream has got a lot of people riled up here, but I'm going to risk the backlash by saying it still seems like a positive event. So saying donating clothes to the homeless is a positive event is going to give you a lot of backlash in the H3 sub now. Even if the worst case scenario and he did it purely to diss Teddy Fresh, it still raised a lot of money for people in need. If being the butt of the joke results in thousands being raised for homeless people, is that such a bad thing? Personally, from what I've seen, he just wanted to clear out his closet, and obviously Teddy Fresh was included in that. Instead of throwing them away or selling them, he used the opportunity to shine a light on an important problem and give some attention to a charity organization. Everyone is going to have different perceptions on the event, and I get that, but I genuinely hope that we can all agree earning money for a charity is a good thing, so why not be the bigger people and just join in? And then there's a link to waterdropla.org. I was never homeless, but I did go through a point where I needed help from friends. I remember my neighbor filming her kids bringing me food, and I felt the worst I ever felt in that moment. I was already going through a rough time, and just the spectacle Jimmy Lee joke killed my heart. Still very grateful to her and her kids, but that shit tore me up for a little bit. Honestly, I'd feel the exact same way in that situation. From what I've read, he was working directly with the charity and didn't film anyone without their consent, so hopefully no one there felt like that. Let's upvote that. I just feel it's weird to film homeless people in this context. Giving out Teddy Fresh was a spite thing. Insane, dude. And it's just off to me to involve random people. I do agree it's good he gave them away, but not everything has to be streamed TBH. That's so crazy, dude. It's a spite thing to give it away. The end result is good, sure, but I don't think we can criticize the end result. My criticism was to do with the execution. I think he did a good thing, but in the snidest, shittiest way. Could have just done the good thing and not made it bitter/petty. Yeah. What do you think was so snide about it? Just the fact that some of the clothes he gave away were Teddy Fresh? Maybe I missed something he said about Teddy Fresh. I just saw the clip of his friend laughing at the fact homeless people didn't want to wear some of his clothes. It didn't come across as directed at Teddy Fresh, but more Hassan's clothes in general, because it wasn't just the Teddy Fresh they turned down. Yeah, these people are going fucking insane. So this person is probably going to get banned. Anyway, I just think I just think this whole situation is so funny. That is Ethan Klein's Hanukkah, his Christmas, his Kwanzaa, his holidays, his winter break. What do you think Ethan Klein's gonna do when he gets back? Is he going to say, let's see.
Him extort shit. Beat your ass and hide the Bible if God watching. Sometimes you gotta pop out and show niggas.
Sometimes you gotta pop out and show them. Anyway, we'll see. This was just a really dumb, fun drama episode. Anyway, thanks for watching, everyone. I brought you 3 different stories. The Aubrey story, the what's her name? The Mirki, that one YouTuber story, and then Hassan donating his Teddy Fresh, and I just thought those were so funny. That's an Ethan Klein holiday for you. Peace. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you later.